What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team FISHKNUCKLES YouTube channel. Before we do anything, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who came up this weekend, talked to me, said they love the channel, they took a picture, maybe signed something. If we took a picture or if I signed something, please send it down below to the Facebook page. I would love to have that picture or something. I love keeping those and post them on the Facebook page and just showing them off. It means a lot to me. People come up to me and tell me they love the channel and stuff like that. Like, it's so crazy. Like, right now we're at 9,200 subscribers. We're 800 away from 10,000, and that number is still so crazy. Just to think, like, 2 years ago, we were, like, less than 1,000 people. So it really does mean a lot when people come up to me and tell me they love the channel and stuff like that. It is fantastic. But today's video is going to be a little bit different. If you come for Main Deck Monday, we're still showing a Main Deck Monday. It is going to be expanded, but there's actually not going to be a video of me playing. Unfortunately, I got home really late. Right now it's 12 o'clock. So I didn't have time to record a video for Monday, but since tomorrow's Labor Day, we'll record a video for Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, and try to find somebody to play this on Saturday and Sunday. I really do want to play against some more YouTubers and show them off, and it's always cool to show off other YouTubers, which is one cool thing I like to do to help promote other channels and grow the Pokemon community as a whole, and just see more PokeTubers is always fantastic. But today, what we're going to talk about is Mega Gardevoir, why we decided to play it, what all happened, why did we come to this decision, and stuff like that. I know before, we talked about like Darkrai, Trevenant, and Night March, stuff like that, which of course we saw a lot of. Trevenant actually wasn't that really big. It didn't do so well. I guess everybody was so ready for it and like kind of had counters for it, kind of knew how to beat it. So Trevenant really didn't dominate. If you missed the finals, we know that Michael Premo won his 6 regionals with Night March, so congratulations. The first person won 6 regionals. There was 3 people tied for 5 regionals. Isversosa, Ryan Sablehouse, and Michael Premo. If I remember correctly, I think Ryan does have 5 wins. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But now Michael Premo is the first one to have 6 regionals wins, which is crazy to think. But yeah, let's talk about Mega Gardevoir, not Mega Gardevoir, Gardevoir-GX, sorry, I think I said Mega Gardevoir earlier, but it's Gardevoir-GX, and I guess before we talk Gardevoir-GX, we gotta talk about how do we get there. Well, me and Kevin, we always talk about different decks, what we want to play. Kevin was pretty sold on playing Dark first. We were pretty sold on Darkrai GX and stuff like that, but then everybody started checking like Marshadow and stuff like that. We were scared of that, and you lose the Night March pretty bad, I think, and then, like, Trevenant's still not 100%, Trevenant could beat you, so we kind of quickly wrote off Dark, and then if you watch the video from last Thursday, we actually talked about a Marshadow deck, and that's actually what we're testing. I'm going to show the deck off on Thursday. The deck is so cool to see. It is a very fun deck. If you actually saw me on Friday night playing Open Gaming, you'd see me playing the Marshadow deck. It has a Gengar EX in it. It's really cool, and I'm excited to show that deck off. If you want to see the Marshadow Toolbox deck, Marshadow Donk deck, it is really cool. It plays like Vipers and Lasers and Toad and Latios. Is a really cool deck to see, and we'll definitely show that off on Thursday for Expanded Thursday. I'm not sure what we're doing for Tuesday, but maybe we'll find something for Tuesday. I don't know, some kind of crazy rogue deck. And also, the rotation just happened online, so I definitely don't have a deck, and I don't want to showcase a deck that I haven't tested at all, which is the big thing. I hate showing decks that I haven't tested, and I know some people do that. They write articles and they show videos of, like, they think this is a good deck. I really like testing my decks out, make sure they're good before I show them off. So that's why I really don't want to show a deck off today, and I really haven't tested it, so that's why I'm not doing it. But Marshadow Toolbox, it was doing good, it was testing well, but we kept losing to Gardy. I played against Gardy, kept losing to it, which is why I put the Gengar in there. We eventually started losing to Trevenant, even though we had counters to it, so it wasn't really that good. So I started talking to Kevin. I'm like, Kevin, you know, Gardy won a world championship. Why is it still bad? And we started talking to figure out, and we're like, man, this deck is still really, really good. Our list is kind of different. It kind of revolves around the junior. They go junior second place finisher. We kind of based it around that. Kevin's the one who really built it. Maybe we threw some stuff in there together, but Kevin's usually the one who builds decks. I kind of like throw ideas out there, and Kevin kind of helps it. But we're playing Gardevoir-GX, and Gardevoir-GX, has 230 HP. It's a high HP Pokemon. It's got the ability Seeker Spring, so it has an Energy Accelerator. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may attach Energy, Favorite Energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So it's really good, just like, being able to energize, or just be able to accelerate your energies for each Gardevoir you have it on there. Infinite Force, 30 times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon, so you can punish your opponent if they attach a bunch of energies. If they attach 3, that's base 90, which is already fantastic. And Twilight GX, we know it is a Garbodor killer. Shuffle 10 cards, Freeman Scrap out into your deck. Really, really strong card and really, really good. Now, you're going to notice we are playing 2 Gallade. Oh, and also GX has resistance to dark. Gallade, he's fighting, so he kind of hits dark for, you know, weakness. But it has a really cool ability of premonition. Look at top 5 cards of your deck and put them back in your deck in any order. This partners well with Oranguru. You can struck for 1. Hit that 1 crucial card. You might think it's weird that we're playing 1 Oranguru instead of like a 1/1 auxiliary, but there's so many times you play your hand down to 2 or 1 cards, and you might think I'm crazy, but when you start testing this deck or testing like Gardevoir-GX in general, you can easily manipulate your hand down to 1 because you have the Guardians put energies out. You can attach like a tools, maybe Field Blower, Rare Candy or something. Put your hand down to a low hand size, and then make sure you premonition plus Oranguru, hit that great card. Also, if you're in the late game, you can like if you need 1, and then you can premonition, look at top 5, then a struck for the 1, and make sure you hit the right card to win the game. So that's also something you do really well, which is really good. But the main reason is since it's Blade, it does 130. If you played a supporter card, it does 60, but 70 when we play a supporter card. So we're going to win Darkrai that way, so really cool. Now you're going to notice we are playing a very heavy Gardevoir, Ralts and Kirlia line. It is 4 Ralts and the 3 Kirlia. Now we are playing the Fairy Ralts. Some people were saying to play this Ralts right. Let's see, the other Ralts that people were talking about playing this one was the Cybolt for Paralyzation, but we opted not to play that one, and you could play a different Kirlia, but we went with this Kirlia, and that's because of Diancie. First off, Diancie, really good attacker. It has a Sparkling Wish. Search your deck for a card that evolves for one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. That card is evolving, so you can immediately evolve your opponent out, or evolve your Pokemon at ASAP, which is really cool. It's like turn 1, you can put down a Ralts, evolve to Kirlia. If it's turn 2 and you've mainly evolved into Kirlia, you can then get out Gardevoir. So it's such a strong card. Just get out your evolutions. Which is going to help against Trevenant and Slice Toad, all those item locking decks. You kind of just get around them by using that Sparkling Wish. Diamond Storm, and this is why we decided to play the Fairy Pokemon, because you heal 30 damage from each of your Fairy Pokemon, and for those who don't know, well, you know Trevenant puts 30 damage on each of your Pokemon, but we counter that with a Diamond Storm. Now, one thing he could do is Tree Slam us. Yes, he could Tree Slam and hit us for 60, but, that's actually fine. We're fine with the Tree Slam there. And the reason why is if he Tree Slams, well then we can start, you know, power up our more Kirlias, get our Gardevoirs out. Because what we're doing is buying time, pound up our Gardevoirs while healing. So if he decides to Tree Slam us, we can still go for Sparkling Wish and just get out a Gardevoir. And then just let the Diancie get knocked out. That's fine. So that's good. So this is fine. You also have 3 Diancies as well, so you kind of maybe overrun them eventually. It does need 2 energies, so you kind of have to watch out for like Team Flare and Crush Neighbor. But still, you're going to be fine. And that's kind of how you beat the deck. And in general, the whole deck's kind of slow. You just use the Diancie, kind of power multiple Kirlias and Gardevoirs out, and then you just start swinging. You let them knock out like 1 or 2 Diancies, and once you're there, you have 3 Gardevoirs ready to go. And that happened multiple times. Play 2 Lele, of course, to help, you know, find a supporter card really good. No Shamer to no Jirachi. I know this is expanded, so we're not playing those cards. Now, the next thing we probably need to look at is the energies. It's 7 Fairy, 4 DC, and 1 Wonder. Now, the 1 Wonder is really good. It prevents all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to Fairy Pokemon this card is attached to. And the big reason why this is because of Dead End GX, which is Darkrai GX's ability. It just auto knocks you out. But with the Wonder Energy, it actually doesn't work. Yeah, they can put you to sleep or like lazy or whatever, but with Wonder Energy they can't dead end you, which is really nice, and also prevents some other stuff as well. Just really some interesting attacks that your opponent can do. You just kind of get rid of it with the Wonder Energy. It is only 1. I know some of us are playing 2 or 3, but we only played the 1, which would bite me, and it would actually hurt me. But the only problem with the Wonder Energy is you can't Seeker Spring onto a Pokemon because it's not a Fairy type Fairy Energy to attach to one of your Pokemon. And you can only be attached to Fairy Pokemon as well. So make sure you kind of look into that if you do it. But 7 Fairy, And for DC, this is fine. You're gonna notice there's no energy recovery, but we have Twilight GX. We get it back that way. But remember, it's 30 for each energy, so a DC is base 60, then a Fairy is 90, and then you have 3 energies on them. That's 90 as well, which is 180. We also play Choice Band, and after this, everything else is pretty easy to kind of figure out why we play it. The Dowsing Machine might be the only confusing thing. Most things you see is computer search, but we opted with Dowsing Machine so that way you can reuse like a Field Blower, maybe Rare Candy, Stretcher, whatever you need. You kind of get it back ASAP with Dowsing Machine. And I know for sure there's one game, a Rare Candy Gallade Dowsing Machine for another Rare Candy Gallade and got 2 Glades out of 1 turn. It was dirty, but hey, we did it. But 2 Field Blower, you know, we want to get rid of tools, mostly for Gardevoir-Toxin, which there's a lot of hype being talked about Gardevoir-Toxin, especially with like the Glisspot deck, so we want to make sure we can hard counter it with the Field Blowers. 2 Field Blower and Dowsing Machine definitely should help you out in that matchup 100%. 2 Rare Candy. This is like, even though we're going slow with our Gardevoirs, late game Rare Candies are still fantastic. You can still get that turn 2 Rare Candy thanks to Korrina. So you get Korrina for a fighting Pokemon and a item card, which can get you the Rare Candy Gallade and actually start powering up ASAP, which is really cool when you're going slow, because what you could do is have like 3 routes on the bench, maybe, you know, Sparkling Wish one of the routes to Kirlia. The next turn you can like Korrina, Rare Candy Gallade, and then maybe evolve the early Kirlia into a Gardevoir. Then you get Sparkling Wish to get routes into a Kirlia, and at that point you have a Kirlia, Gallade, and a Gardevoir just sitting there, which is really, really strong and really cool. Something you could do with this deck. 1 Rescue Stretcher. It was mainly to give back 1 Pokemon you just got pile in your hand, but you could shuffle 3 back in there if needed. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker, pretty much stable cards. Now, the real cool thing about this deck is we play an Acerola. Basically, the whole idea around this is you keep streamlining Gardevoirs. You can pick up a Gardevoir, put it back down, the whole thing, and just keep repeating, making where they can never knock out your Gardevoir, because you're always going to have a Kirlia on the bench, or at least a Rouse and evolve it. 2 Brigette, and the whole point around the 2 Brigette was that you have a better chance of starting with it. We do play the 2 Lele, but we really don't want to bench the Lele early for Brigette. We rather just have it, and especially if you prize when you really need that turn 1 in Brigette. That makes the deck so good. 1 Guzma, 1 Lysandre. It's situational depending when you need it, so I play a 1-1 split. 1 Hex Maniac, still just a really broken card, just shutting down abilities to end your opponent's turn. 1 Korrina, like I said, getting that 1 item card is very good. You can get any of those, and it's well getting Gallade out, so you can get that Rare Candy Gallade out combo. 2 in for Sycamore. We decided to play 3 Choice Bands, so you do additional 30 damage to GX or EX Pokemon, which is basically like an energy attachment, so a really strong card there. And that is going to be our 60 card list that we played. But this is a regionals breakdown, so let's break down the 9 rounds that we played in Swiss. So round number 1, we'd actually play the one and only Ross Cawthorn. Ross, I know when I sat down, I know it's going to be rough. I knew seeing Ross, I was like, alright, so we're playing a Selgor, and let me pull up a Selgor real quick if you've never seen this card. Okay, it's like already near the top. Alright, so Selgor. A Selgor has attack, deck, and cover. That if any Pokemon's now paralyzed or poison, shuffle the Pokemon all cards attached to it into your deck. Now, going into this, I mean, Ross has always been a big fan of Selgor. I'm like, alright, we're good. But he's got to play something fancy, right? Because now we have Guzmas, which Guzma can easily get around that as Selgor. And also, we're playing Wonder Energy. You know, Wonder Energy makes it where we're not paralyzed or poison with attacks. So that's a really hard counter. But he would actually start with, I think that's how you spell this Pokemon's name. I think it's Lily, let me try and type this in real quick. Pup. He would actually start with one of these guys. I can't remember which one he would start with, but as you see, I think it was this one, maybe. I think it was the Collect one. It could be that one. I think it was maybe a Roar one. Maybe it was, I think it was actually the Roar one. But he started with Lillipup. And I was like, oh no. As soon as he started Lillipup, he actually started Lillipup, and I was like, alright, I know exactly what this is. And what Ross is actually playing is going to be a Stoutland, a Selgor deck. And if you don't know, not this Stoutland, that's not the right one. Is that the right one? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I had to write it first. Yeah, what am I doing? I'm sleepy, guys. But he's playing this Stoutland with the Sentinel ability, make it where you can't play any supporter cards, which is actually really cool, because nowadays people aren't really playing like Keldeo anymore or Escape Ropes. They're kind of just relying on Guzmas. So with Sentinel, you actually make it where you can't use Guzmas, you can't get out of, you just can't play supporter cards, no AZ or anything either. or Acerola. So you're kind of stuck in the X spot, so your deck covers in the stat line is good to go. This game was pretty close. I'd get down to 2 prize cards. We'd have the 1 energy attached, but eventually he would Zerosic the only 1 energy off and would win that way. Like I said, it was a close match. Game to 1 was very, very long, and that's what usually goes. The only way you can really probably beat Ross's deck is that he whiffs like deck and covers, which does happen sometimes. He did play Marsharna. I know there's probably a lot of Pokemon that here that people haven't seen before, but he did play Marsharna with the Forewarn. Look at top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 in your hand, which is really good to help streamlining those deck and covers. But yeah, once he got set up, we're a slow deck. He's a slow deck. He's playing Skyfields. He's getting a bunch of Pokemon down, and then he eventually would take this game. So he took game number 1, and that lost about 40-45 minutes in the game 2. He was getting set up, so that was probably a loss anyway. But we will lose 0-1. Next up, it's going to be my good friend Caleb. The last time me and Caleb played, I was playing Decidueye Garbodor, and he was playing Wobbuffet Mewtwo, which is an auto loss. This time around, he'd be playing Seismitoad, and like I said, our deck is built to beat Seismitoad. We have the multiple Diancies, the Sparkling Wish, and we pretty much one-shot him. He's only doing 30. He did play Lasers and Marshadow, but it was basically like a just a good old Seismitoad deck, and the matchup is pretty rough for him. We can energy accelerate, get a bunch of energies on Gardevoir. We knock him out. He's only punching for like 90 maybe max. Yeah, he can punch for 90 max. So it took him a little while to knock out Gardevoir. He also has to use lasers on Diancie to knock those out because like Choice Band doesn't work, so he's punching the Diancies for 30, but he needs to deal with them because we keep Sparkling Wish to get up more Guardies, stuff like that. Gallade is really good in that matchup because you can kind of Premonition, hit what you want at top 5. Oranguru could be somewhat useful, not really that useful anymore because we are item locked, so we can't really use our abilities or get rid of our item cards to use the Instructability. I think that one was a 2-0, if I remember correctly, but we would take down the Seismitoad deck against Caleb. Next up is going to be Peterson, and I don't really remember much about Pearson's game. Let me make sure I have the right guy pulled up, and yeah, Peterson would be playing Espeon Garb, and this was a quick 0-2 for me. I really didn't draw too well. I remember I missed energies. He got a quick Divide GX off too, and would take some quick knockouts on my routes and stuff like that. I don't really know much about this game. I knew after this round there was a lunch break, and by the time we were done, there was like an hour and 30, maybe an hour 20 minutes left for the lunch break. That's how quick it was. We got destroyed real quick, so it really wasn't a game, and we would lose to Espeon Garb. So we start off today 1-2, going to the lunch break. I'm feeling pretty nervous already because, I mean, 1-2, you had to probably go 7-2 to make cut, so feeling nervous already. We now have to win out to make cut. Alright, so we lose there. And next up, hold on, I took the screenshot of what we played against. Next up, we play against Muhammad. Muhammad, oh my goodness, was playing a very, very interesting deck here. And I'm going to have to look up this Pokemon because I don't know how to say his name. Let me see if I can find him and type in this. Oh, here it is. I remember this guy now. Crabominable. Crabominable, that's what he was playing. It has the attack Gutsy Hammer 80, and this Pokemon does 10 damage to itself for each damage counter on it. Now the whole point about it is you kind of just recycle this Gutsy Hammer attack over and over and over again. You play Strong Energies, so you do additional 20. He played Muscle Bands, so you can do more damage that way. And so his whole idea was that he would kind of like cycle Carbomimals by using like Acerolas, maybe Max Potion, just to keep healing them, make it where they can't get knocked out, and he would just keep streamlining these guys. And even if they do get knocked out, it is a non-EX attacker, just doing a ton of damage, just 100, just constantly hitting you over and over again. He did play Garbodor, the Garbotoxin, and the Trash Lynch one. And at game number 1, he would focus more on the Trash Lynch one, it seemed like to me. Which actually helped us out a lot because we kind of countered it by using the Twilight GX to get a bunch of item cards back in our deck and make it where his Garbodor is pretty much useless. We would win game number 1, but game number 2 he would go the heavy Garbotoxin route and punish us that way. We really couldn't streamline, and Crabominable kept hitting us over and over and over again, and it was very hard to deal with. And at game number 3 we would actually go to time, and I would It was funny because I think he passes with a Crabrawler and I Sycamore, and I just need a Rare Candy Gardevoir energy. We got it. We took the knockout, blah blah, and we whiffed the Rare Candy. I was so upset. I mean, we only played the 2, so it's very unrealistically that we get the turn 2 Rare Candy Gardevoir. But when I drew the 8th card, it was a Rare Candy. Kind of sad there. We didn't take the knockout. In his turn, he dropped into the Pokemon. Can't win now anymore. And we would tie that round. So now we're 1-2-1, which means we're out of cut. Can no longer make it, but maybe we get squeaky to top 64. Alright, so next up, we are playing against Eric. And let me pull up Eric real quick and see if I can remember correctly. Oh, Eric. Oh, yeah, Eric. I remember now. He is playing Darkrai GX. And then the reason why I built this deck was to beat these meta decks we have not seen. Oh, also in the Crabominable deck, he would play an interesting card as well. Oh, here it is. Bodybuilding Dumbbells. Makes it where your Pokemon has 40 more HP. So now the Crabommables have 180 instead of 140 with 1 energy. So it's a very, very hard deck to take down. He did play Special Charge, Max Potion, stuff like that to recycle his strong energies. So yeah, congratulations, Muhammad. That was a very unique deck. So yeah. Alright, so next round we were playing against Eric, like I said, and he is playing Gardevoir-GX. And Gardevoir-GX is a pretty good matchup for us. We got, you know, the resistance and everything like that. Game 1 actually became really, really close. He would whiff the knockout at 20 HP, or 30 HP, yeah, 20 HP. The resistance saved us. Just barely saving us. I think he did 210, and if you had like an energy, a choice band of whatever, a dark patch or something, he actually whiffed on a ton of max losses, if I remember correctly. So if one of those max losses had hit, he would have taken a knockout and would have won game 1. But game 1 would go to us. We do have the double Gallade and the rescue stretcher to help us out a lot in that matchup. Game number 2 would go to time, but we would actually finish out and have, we would win by turn 3 on time, taking our last prize card. So that's something pretty cool to do there. Gallade is just really strong. Just be able to hit for a billion damage on a Darkrai or Malamar or a Darkrai or a Darkrai. Because there's 3 different Darkrai's in the deck. And he didn't play Evital. I don't think he played the Baby or the EX I can recall. So we'd win the game 2-0. Next up is going to be Alexandra Holtz, and he is playing a Golisopod deck. This time, though, there's no actually Garbodor. It's just like Golisopod with Verbix and Laser, Tapu Koko, and a Size Toad, and I think that's it. Yeah. So he'd play in those cards. I think this went to game 3, if I remember correctly. This is late in the day now. And I just want to say that, like, I think the big thing about this game is that we're able to ace roll our Gardevoirs while he's ace rolling his guys, but we're able to ace roll like our Gardevoirs, and the cool thing about when you ace roll a Gardevoir is you can Seeker Spring a Gardevoir, then ace roll it back into your hand, send him Kirlia, put another Gardevoir down, you can Seeker Spring again, and then attach. So you kind of get an extra energy attachments to actually one-shot a Golisopod, which is what kind of happened there. Even though he could start swinging turn 2, start knocking out Diancie's, whatever, we're just going to go slow. We're going to mainly set up our Gardevoir-GXs, and that's what's going to happen with this deck a lot. Your opponent's going to take a bunch of prize cards usually, but then you're going to set up and you're going to start winning. They can't really do anything, and you take games that way. So we'd win this one. I think I want to say it was 2-1, maybe a 2. I don't remember. That was so late in the game. Next up, a good friend, Jordan Peterson, and I know, I remember this matchup fairly well. Game 1, he's playing another Golisopod, so back-to-back Golisopod. This one is a very focused Golisopod Tapu Koko. He played a bunch of Tapu Kokos, no Laser, no Verbinks. Instead, this one would play Silent Lab, and the Silent Lab was very, very good, because if you notice, we don't play these Stadium cards. We do play the 2 Field Blower, which is the only way to get rid of Stadiums in this deck. So once he gets Silent Lab down, we're kind of in a bad situation, because we can't use Destruct anymore. We can't do the whole Gallade, Premonition, Destruct thing, which does kind of bite us, because we can't draw extra cards like we want to while playing this deck. But game number 1, we would win. I don't remember too much. Game 2, would go very quickly. Sorry, I'm kind of out of the picture. I just don't think I hit any energies or did anything really. I'm pretty sure he just like beat me game 2 fairly quickly. But game number 3, he had a different strategy, or I don't know if he had a different strategy, but he went a different route than I remember the game 1, and he would actually start spreading with Tapu Koko. And it looked like to me he priced his Golisopods because he wasn't putting down Golisopods. He just kept like Tapu Koko in, and I was like, all right, well if he's Tapu Koko in, I'm just going to get multiple Gardevoirs out. I don't care that he's spreading damage. It's not going to affect me. I don't care. So we get multiple Guardies out. But what was he doing was setting up for an attacker that I didn't know he played, and he kept it a secret. And this would change the game the whole time. We know he plays Gliscod, but he's actually playing this Gliscod, the Resolute Claws. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX, his attack does 70 more damage. So 70 plus 80 is 150. And what he was doing was spreading damage enough. Everybody who had 60 damage on it, then Resolute Claws can start taking knockouts. So he was able to streamline. I think this Gliscod would take 2 knockouts, because what would happen is I eventually swung to the top of Coco, took a knockout, then he'd put down this Gliscod, take a knockout with the Resolute Claws with the Silver Wrangle. I think it's a knockout. 150, 188, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, it'd be 180 plus the 60, which is 240, which knocks out a Gardevoir-GX. And you really can't Acerola a 60 damage Gardevoir, and this is what actually won him the game. I'm pretty sure this Gliscod would take 4 prize cards, and then he took his last prize card with a Gardevoir-GX using that Crossing Cut GX, because he had a Silver Ring or something, whatever. And yeah, he would actually win this game, and a game 3, which is very exciting, because usually when games go to game 3, there's usually a tie. There's not enough time usually to play 3 games. I think there's really no way to play 3 games in Pokemon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no way you can play Pokemon, especially expanded. There's so much going on, so he would actually win that game, which made me very excited. Like, playing that Gliscod, it was a very techy card. It would come in very, very clutch to win him that game 3. So congratulations to him. Next up, it's gonna be our good friend Jeffrey. Oh man! And as soon as Jeffrey sat down, he was like, "Oh man, it's a bad matchup." And I said, well, "Oh, bud, I said, I don't know what you're playing." He said, "Well, I know what you're playing," and he knew that I was playing Guardy, but he did not know that I was playing 2 Gallades. Because this is the turn where I did the Rare Candy Gallade. I would Dowsing Machine for another Rare Candy, and double Rare Candy Gallade one turn against his Darkrai GX deck. This one was a quick 2-0, maybe it wasn't. No, it wasn't quick. I don't think it was quick. I don't know, playing against Darkrai decks, it takes forever, because they do like a billion things, like Max Potion, not Max Potion, they Max looks like Dark Patch, Professor Sycamore, Shaman, they do like a bunch of stuff. I want to see this game was 2-0. Jeffrey, I'm wrong. Let me know if you're this far in the video. But we would take down the Darkrai deck. Pretty easy match. One of our better matches to play against. And then the last round, we would play against Archestoys. And Archestoys, very interesting deck, because they need so many energy to attack. You know, Keldeo. Oh, if you don't know what Archestoys is, let me break it down to you real quick. I know some people probably haven't played for that long, but Archestoys revolves around this Blastoise right here. Blastoise has that deluge ability where you attach as many water energies from your hand as you want to your Pokemon. He would get this out with the Archies, of course, Archies, Ace, and Hole, and he'd get a Blastoise out that way and power up his attackers. Now, his attackers are going to be Keldeo, which is pretty much the standard kind of attacker. Seeker Sword, 50 plus 20 more damage for each water you attach to Pokemon, and that's kind of what he really wants to do. But in this matchup, it's actually really bad, because we base our damage off the Infinite Force, so it'd actually be a rough matchup for my opponent. Everything went right. He did play Articuno. Articuno has that Tri-Edge, 20, then flip a coin for each edge, you do 40 more damage, and it has a Delta Plus where he takes an additional prize card. Then he would play a Wishy-Washy. If I can remember how to spell Wishy-Washy. Okay, there it is, Wishy-Washy GX. And the thing to note about Wishy-Washy GX is he has that Blue Surge GX attack. It does 220, move all energy from this Pokemon to your bench Pokemon any way you like. But with a Muscle Band or Silver Wrangle, he can now hit crazy numbers on a Gardevoir-GX. Move all the damage, move all the energy off the Wishy-Washy GX, and just take a free knockout on our Gardevoir. So that's a very good card in this matchup. I don't think he played Tapu Lele. I do not recall seeing one in there. That could be a game changer as well if he did use his ability. But yeah, it's be the last round. So game number 1, he would actually struggle a little while to get an Archies out. And by then, we were all set up. He would send up attackers eventually, but then we had multiple Gardevoirs ready to go. I'm able to streamline energies, and we'd take game number 1. Game number 2, that was the exact opposite. He got a quick Archestoys out, and he actually used the Articuno to take 4 prize cards on our Ralts. Ralts only have 60 HP, so as long as he flips 1 heads, he's taking 2 prize cards on these guys, and he would win that game as well. Game number 3 was a little bit of a difference. It was going away. Let's see. I remember the last turn of the turns of the game. he would get Blastoise, he was set up, ready to go, he was good, I had 2 prize cards left, and he would have 4. He would end us down to, I think he had 4, maybe 5 or 6, I can't remember exactly, I remember 4 or 6, I don't know if he took a prize card or not, but we had 2 prize cards left. There is a Shaymin EX on the bench. I have a Gallade on the bench as well. There's 3 VS Seekers in my deck and 4 and a Guzma and Lysandre in our discard pile. So I'm like, alright, as long as we hit a VS Seeker or a DCE, we can take a knockout. So time is called. I am turn 1 or 0 and 2. 0 and 1. So I have 2 turns to try to take a knockout. Turn number 0, I think he like end me or something and we'd whiff. And maybe no, I think I took a no. Yeah, I would whiff the knockout, and then turn number 1. So this is my last turn of the game. He ends me to 2. Okay. I have a Fairy Energy and a useless card, and I draw into something else that like a Choice Band or something that I could put down, maybe a Field Blower or something I can get rid of my hand. So essentially, I can instruct for 2, and as long as I hit another energy in the VS Seeker out the top 5, I could win the game. So, we premonition, look at the top 5 cards of our deck. We hit the DCE, but the VS Seeker is not in there. There was maybe like 13 to 14 cards left in our deck. And with that premonition, we whiff one of the 3 VS Seekers. If we hit one of those VS Seekers, we could have VS Seeker for Guzma, brought up the Shaymin, and take a knockout with the Sensitive Blade, maybe even Lysandre up. We do 130, minus 20, 110, and we would have won the game. So we would whiff that knockout. We'd Sycamore, and we hit all 3 of our. We actually didn't hit all 3 of our VS Seekers, but all the VS Seekers were left in the deck. And I remember, so with the VS Seeker and his turn, he would just draw and pass, and we tied. Now the bad thing about this is the only way you can make points at this point is 5 wins. At this point, we are 4, 3, and 1. A tie does not help either one of us because you need 5 wins to get top 256. And this is where I kind of think the ties are kind of annoying in this situation because we clearly had Boar State. We were going to win. And I know people are going to say you should play faster, blah, blah, blah. But at this point, it's just for future things, which some people might hate. But at this point, neither one of us gets a benefit for tying. It hurts both of us. None of us get points. Board state wise, I'm good. I have the game. I have 2 prize cards left. I can win next turn. We're good to go. We could win. But not how it works. And we tie. And you can always concede, guys. If you think your opponent has a better. I'm not saying you have to concede, but it's a weird touchy subject on like when to concede and stuff like that. Because like I said, it basically hurts both of us that none of us got the win. All 5 and 4s, I'm pretty sure got top 256, or would get the points to get the 256. So it literally doesn't hurt anybody, if I remember correctly, that you concede. It just hurts both of you that neither player won. So it's a very interesting thing. But unfortunately, man, I was so salty. I'm still super salty right now. Because we end the day 5, 4, and 2, or 4, 3, and 2, which means no points. But still, we had a fantastic day. Nothing to complain about. We lost to a pretty bad matchup. It was the Flygon Acerola, not Flygon Acerola. I wish it was Flygon Acerola. This Stoutland Acerola deck. So yeah, the Stoutland Acerola deck. So that was a pretty bad matchup. We lose the Espeon Garb, and that was just because of bad draws, which is going to happen on 9 rounds. At a 9-round tournament, it's going to happen. The 2 ties, we are both going to win those. We were both going those 2 ties, but unfortunately, ties are in the game. I guess they're okay. I don't know. I'm still very indifferent about the tying system. I just don't like it, really. I just don't understand. I kind of understand why it's there, but I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be hard. I kind of wish that regionals were just like best of 1, like 35 minutes. So like 35 minutes, like plenty of time to finish the game. Like if you don't finish the game in 35 minutes, what are you doing? I really wish regionals was like best of 1, 35 minutes, and you play like 14 or 15 rounds instead of this best of 3 situation. That's just me. I know some people are gonna argue with me and say that the best 2 out of 3 is better, but I know a lot of people do not like the ties, and that's the only thing in Pokemon I kind of don't like. But there we go. There is the Gardevoir-GX regionals breakdown. Of the ending was kind of weird, just me kind of talking about ties and everything like that. But like I said, it just hurt both of us that both of us got the tie. Neither one to get top 256 to get points. And points for top 256 is 30 out of 400, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like 8 or 9 or 10% of the way there. So it's good. Like, it's still good. But, so yeah, we'd walk away with nothing. But still, like I said, I had a fantastic time. I got to meet so many new people this weekend. And, the good thing about Gardevoir, it's not going anywhere. It's still a really strong deck at standard. If we hit this button, it is now going to take all the cards out that are going to be expanded. And let's see here. So let's press accept. All right, so let's accept here. So now we have 9 cards of feeling. We're only using 9 cards, and this is very easy to do. You can add like maybe another Theatergy in there. You can add another Rare Candy since we take away the Dowsing Machine. You can add another Guzma there, maybe a third Guzma if you want to. That could be another thing as well. Let's see, a second Rescue Stretcher is probably not bad. Probably need a second Acerola, a third in. These are all because of VS Seekers being rotated out. Maybe a fourth in if you go that crazy. Still really good to play these high consistency cards. And you have 2 spots left. I don't know, you could play something else, maybe another Sporter card. But I mean, that's close enough to a new list. It really doesn't change too much. You just lose the VS Seekers to Korrina. You could play a Skyla. Maybe 2 Skyla in the deck. That's not a bad idea. I think Skyla's legal. Yeah, I think Skyla's legal. Yeah, so you can put 2 Skyla there maybe. You can Lele for Skyla, which is still really good. Just a guaranteed a Rare Candy or something if you need to go that way. We're playing 3 Rare Candy now, so probably doesn't really need it too much. I don't know. There's different things you can do with Guardy. You can put the Octilleries in there if you want those back. Maybe put some Float Stones, give that free retreat. That's the only thing I kind of wish from this weekend we had were Float Stones, because if you start with Ralts, you can't go for that turn 1 Sparkling Wish. Unfortunately, if you go second. We also don't play any stadium cards, so you can maybe put stadium cards in there. I know some people are talking about Tropical Beach, but we always just wanted to go for that Sparkling Wish instead of Tropical Beach. We'd rather just gain a Pokemon than kind of wish that we hit a Pokemon off the Tropical Beach. But there we go, guys. There's my regionals breakdown about Gardevoir-GX. I know the video is kind of long, and just me kind of talking about my experience, but you kind of see how we talk about decks, how we build decks, why we build certain decks, and how they kind of evolve over time. Like I said, Thursday, we will show off that Marshadow Dunk deck. I know a lot of people there wanted to see it, and hopefully, if you're still here at the 37-minute mark, let me know that you made it here to 37 minutes, guys. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button, guys. We have to find 800 more people. If we do, we'll hit that 10K mark, and I'm so excited. I am super tired, as you see right now. I am so tired right now, guys. So I'm about to go to sleep, and tomorrow morning we will record a bunch of videos for the week. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. It'll be a fantastic Monday. Once again, I do apologize if there's no gameplay, but hopefully my voice is pretty enough and you understand what I said. And maybe you see why in our eyes we thought Gardevoir-GX was the play for this weekend. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the deck or anything, let me know down below. Alrighty, bye. Alright guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to our 3 sponsors, 60 Cards, Yeti Gaming, and the Pokemon Company International. Links to everything will be down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Alrighty.